Easter here, and I've been sim racing for about 5 years now, and in that time I've gone through a bunch of different hardware, from the belt driven and gear driven bases like the T300 and the G29, all the way up to direct drive in the last couple of years with the Moza R9 and the Alpha Mini. And in my opinion, there are some pieces of hardware where you'll spend a little bit extra money on, but the extra money is going to give you so much more performance that it's completely worth it, especially in 2025 with all the budget direct drives and load cell pedals and everything like that. So it can get pretty confusing. But in this video, I'll be going through everything that I'm playing with now that I personally think is the best price to performance. So with all that being said, let's hop into the video. All right, kicking things off, we've got my top pick for the best budget direct drive base in 2025, and that goes to the Simagic Alpha Mini. I know most other people would put either the CSL-DD from Fanatec or maybe even the Moza R9 or R5, but coming from the Moza R9 personally, and a T300 and a G29 before that, I can positively say the extra money is worth it for the Simagic Alpha Mini. You get so much more detail. The software speaks to the base so much better. I'm going to be comparing it a lot more to the Moza R9 because that's its basically direct competitor, quote unquote. But in actuality, these two products are a world apart. The Moza is a much more vague feeling base, as where the Simagic Alpha Mini gives you so much little details that were missing from the Moza base, most likely due to the difference in the motor. But overall, I would 100% go with the Alpha Mini, no questions. I literally run this base most of the time at around 3 Newton meters. Granted, I do drive mostly road cars and whatnot, but at 10 Newton meters of torque, when you max it out, it gives you that strong, detailed force feedback that just makes belt wheel drivens feel like toys. You can feel the tire load shift, suspension compression. It's all super crisp without being overwhelming. What I love most is how refined this thing feels. Completely metal. It's compact, completely fanless, runs silent, full metal housing. It looks beautiful. You're basically getting pro level performance in something that is a fraction of the price. A lot of people compare it to much higher end wheelbases like the Asetec one and whatnot. So those ones might be a little bit better, but you're really getting 90% of those bases for a fraction of the cost. It also comes with that awesome automotive grade quick release system, which feels rock solid. It's definitely the best quick release system wheelbase shaft on the market. You would just have no worries of this thing breaking at all. And then it's not as plug as play as Logitech or even Fanatec. So there's a little bit of setup involved, but once you dial it in with Sim Pro Manager and the adapters, if you need to use it with the console, then you're good to go. There's nothing that this wheelbase can't really do. It can even go on play with PlayStation and whatnot. So I also have videos on my channel if you guys are interested in that. Go check it out. But bottom line, if you're ready to upgrade, step into that direct drive, but don't want to shell out $1,000 or more, the Alpha Mini is 100% the move. If your main concern is not having enough torque, I can guarantee you if you're coming from a belt-driven one, or it's going to be a night and day difference, even in regard to the power. I rarely see anyone running above 10 Newton meters, so it's really unnecessary in my opinion, and I wouldn't even think of going above 10 Newton meters personally. But like I said, I drive mostly road cars. If you have any questions on that, leave that in the comments. But Now let's move on to the next piece of hardware that I would recommend, and that would be the pedals. Next up, we've got the pedals. And if you're hunting for load cell performance without blowing your whole rig budget, you need to check out the Simagic Minis, the AliExpress special. These things are honestly insane for the price. You're getting a full metal construction on each pedal, a proper load cell on each pedal as well, and everything is adjustable basically on them. Pedal spacing, angle, stiffness, you name it. Even the elastometers, which can be swapped out for the Heusinkveld set, which I have done, makes a huge difference. Would highly recommend that. If you're looking for a full review on these, check out my channel. I owned them for about a year before I made that review, so it's pretty accurate and honest. What really sets the minis apart is the brake feel. It's got a progressive, firm, and incredibly consistent brake feel, especially when you swap over the Heusinkveld set, which is what I personally recommend. The load cell in general is super important if you're trying to build muscle memory for better lap times. You actually get that real car pressure feedback, not just position-based movement with the potentiometers and the cheaper pedals. They have a USB standalone controller as well, so they'll basically work alongside any bass you're already running. Now, they don't have fancy software like Heusinkveld or Asetek, but honestly, you don't need it. These just work, and they work well. Bottom line, if you want real braking control without breaking the bank, Simagic Minis punch way above their weight. Next, we'll talk about the cockpit, and when it comes to these cockpits, stability is the main factor. Then comes comfortability and whatnot, but stability is the main thing that we'll focus on here. And to achieve that, coming from somebody who's used those fold out wheel stands and whatnot, the aluminum rig is one of the best upgrades you can do to the setup, just because it takes the immersion to the next level. It makes everything feel solid, like you were in a real car, basically, is the best way I can describe it. It takes away from that immersion when there's stuff flexing here and there. So stability is everything, especially if you're running a powerful direct drive setup. And the ASR3 from Advanced Sim Racing absolutely nails this one. Personally, I have the ASR1, but I'm going to be recommending the ASR3 here because it's a lot more sturdy, specifically because I'm using a real car seat that's around 50 pounds, and there's a substantial amount of flex you can see on the chassis. I'll include a video so you guys can see too, but I personally think that's pretty... I probably pushed the rig to its limits, but yeah, next time I would go with the ASR3. Obviously, it's really expensive, and this one I would say is optional depending on your budget, but as an all-around setup, this is something that you really want. It's standard 80-20 style. Even if you're pushing a 20-30 Newton meter base, this chassis is basically endgame. It's not really the cheapest one out there, but it's probably the best priced one, especially knowing that it's made in North America and they have good support and everything like that. I would highly recommend ASR for the most part. If you're ready to commit to a serious cockpit that won't hold you back or shake under load, the ASR3 is absolutely worth it. All right, let's talk seats. You can have the best wheelbase and pedals in the world, but if your seat's garbage, your whole rig feels off. One of my favorite budget-friendly upgrades, a stock BMW E90 seat. They're super easy to find at local junkyards, even Facebook Marketplace, for around 200 bucks, and they're surprisingly perfect. The rails on them are completely flat, so they mount perfectly to the 80-20 profiles. No modifications needed or anything. Built-in bolstering, real car comfort, OEM quality. It literally beats most budget sim seats under 500 in my opinion. What's awesome is that it's an OEM car seat, obviously, so it's got really good quality. You're getting nice cushioning, really comfortable. It's literally designed to handle real G forces, so it can handle aggressive postures and whatnot. I personally even added a power supply to this seat since it's the electric one, and it was very easy to actually wire this up, and now I have full power on this seat. I can move it front and back, up and down, adjust the back, and this is all for under around 250. So I personally think you cannot beat this combo here. If you guys have any questions on that, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'll try to answer as best as possible. All right, so if you're trying to take immersion to the next level, there's nothing like a proper H pattern shifter, and the Fanatec Club Sport shifter is one of the best in the game, especially for the price. This thing is built like a tank, full metal construction. Every shift feels solid, mechanical, and super satisfying. Whether you're heel towing in a Miata or slamming gears in an old school touring car, it delivers the real analog feel you just can't get with paddle shifters. I'm sure many car enthusiasts can agree. An H pattern shifter is pretty essential. But what makes it even better is that it's dual mode. You can flip a switch and it instantly goes between H pattern to sequential. Perfect if you need to bounce between GT and rally. You also get adjustable resistance, so you can tune how notchy or smooth the shifts feel. I keep mine at max tightness because it makes every gear change feel really crispy. One of the minor gripes I have about it is the lack of tension for the left and right wiggle. It just feels a little too loose, but honestly, for the price, you really can't beat this thing. But one thing to note is it connects directly to a Fanatec base with a RJ style connector, or you'll need to get their USB adapter so you can use it standalone, but thankfully that is an option. If you're already in their ecosystem, it integrates seamlessly. At the end of the day, if you want that raw mechanical shifting experience, this is the one to get. All right, so now that we've gone through all that gear, we've basically got ourselves a pretty solid sim racing rig for what we've spent. In my opinion, at this point, if you spend any more money, you could make little tweaks here and there. I know Simagic came out with a new H pattern shifter, and there are a couple more budget direct drive wheels. The Evo lineup from Simagic just came out as well. But yeah, the scene is definitely evolving a lot and has evolved a lot over the years. But with all these choices, I think we have a solid rig. I personally don't have any need to upgrade any component. There would be some like nice to haves like active pedals and like a nicer like BD8 shifter or something like that, but those are all, you know, top end overkill kind of stuff. But where we're at with this rig is pretty solid in my opinion. If you guys found any of this content helpful, I'd really appreciate a like or even a sub if you're new to the channel. Doing more hardware reviews and some Gran Turismo / Assetto Corsa gameplay and whatnot. You guys can come check me out. Check out my other vids. I've got some on the Simagic Cortex adapters and drive hub and stuff like that. So there's a lot of questions that I answer in those videos too if you want to check them out. Again, if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comments. I'd love to connect with you all. Till next time, peace.